Hey guys, it's Tyranno Dudley. This is Dudley. I have a new deck profile. I finally got the cards for my friend. They came in the mail. It's a Perdition deck. It's a pain laser build. So it's the budget version. I think it's pretty good. This deck is more about controlling the board. It's more about controlling the board and having your opponent waste their hand. So they have to put more rear guards down. Alright, so this is my starter, Red Post Draco Kid. It's the generic Counterblast 3, put it into the soul. Look at the top 5. Sorry, the focus is. Look at the top 5 for a grade 3. Look at the top 5 cards from the top of your deck for a grade 3 and put it in your hand. And then shuffle your deck. I was originally running this as my starter. Perdition Dragon Tender Spear Draco Kid. It's a good effect. It's just that it's really hard to pull off because your Vanguard has to be in Legion, and once your opponent reads it, they're never gonna let it hit. So what it does is when it boosts the unit, and if it hits the Vanguard, if the unit that it was boosting hits the Vanguard, you counterblast 1, but you put it into the soul and you retire the column that it's on. So if it's on the left, you retire your opponent's entire left column. Their entire left column. Sorry for the glare. Its rarity is like super spazzy. So like it never goes off. It's basically just a waste of space, and you have to like get rid of it, and it's bleh. This is more consistent. I prefer this instead. This is your preference. They also have another card. It's a you put it into the soul, and then when you're I think you choose a unit, and when it hits, you retire one of their units in the same row as it. Same column as it. Alright, so that's the starter. On to the triggers. We run 8 crits. There's just some old school crits. We run 2 draws. We run 2 Gatling Claw Dragon. What it does is counterblast 1, put it into the soul. You choose one of your opponent's grade 0 rear guards and retire it. And the thing about this deck, it needs soul. So this is good too, because this goes in the soul as well. Yeah. And 2 Ancient Dragon draw triggers, Seal Dragon Arminius? No, Artpicu. It's one of those generic skills you put into the soul +3. Sorry for the glare. Right there. Alright, and then we run 4 heals. My favorite heal trigger for Kagura's. You can personally, because this deck doesn't need to crit your opponent. This version of the deck that I think so. So you can petition them, take out all the crits, all the 4 crits, and run 8 draws, 4 crits, 4 heals. On to the grade 1s. I'm missing 1 card, but it's still working out really good. I'm running 1 Perfect Guard. It doesn't matter which Perfect Guard it is because they don't have any special Counterblast, special Soul Blast, or anything like that. And I'm running 2 Quintet Wads. Perdition Dragon Knight Salter Counterblast 1. When it's put onto the rear guard from hand, you discard you mill the top 5 cards into the guard circle and add it to the Vanguard. And this is supposed to be an either Quintet Wad or Perfect Guard. It's just when it attacks, it gets plus 3000 if you have Vanguard's Perdition in the name. Then we're running 3 Dragon Gojo. It's one of those skills where you counterblast 1, you rest it, discard a card, draw a card. So it's really good to open up with, because it also gets 2 cards into the discard pile so you can Legion faster. I run 3 10Ks. When your Vanguard's in Legion, it gets plus 4000. So, but we always give it here. So this is the 10K booster. Now this is the card that runs like your deck, so you always have a lot of counterblasts. It's Perdition Dragon Malakoi, and what he does, he's a rear guard effect, but here's the thing about his effect. Okay, when a unit gets retired during your main phase, you Soul Blast 1, and you unflip a damage if it's in the same column. So, let's say it's right here, in the back, and then over here your opponent has 2 units, so he has 2 units. They get retired from Pain Laser skill, so they go away, and then you can Soul Blast 2 and up to 2 damage. It stacks. So it keeps your counterblast, so you don't play these down. until, unless you open opposite and you don't want to be great lock, you basically don't put it off. Excuse me. You don't put it down in the field unless you want to do this. Retire one of your opponent's grade zeros if you open opposite early. And to use Pain Laser skill. Or Menace Laser Dragon. My friend likes running this in his Dragon Youth deck. I personally don't think it's necessary for his deck because that's the only card that retires in his deck, that units during the main phase. It's Dragon Youth. Yes, it's good, but the fact that you have to be at grade 3 and you need to have this in hand, because if you don't draw this, it's just counterblast 2. It's good effect. Kill 2 units that are the grade 2 or less, and then they take an additional damage negating the effects of whatever the card is. So I personally don't think that that you should run this in Dragon Youth, because that's the more aggressive build. That's the more aggressive build, expensive build is Dragonic Overlord the Great and Dragon Youth. I don't know the rest of his name. Perdition, Dragon Youth. Maybe that's it. And so I don't think it's necessary just to run 4 of the card in the Dragon Youth deck, just for that one grade 3, just for that one card. This relies on trolling the board. So those are the grade 1s. On to the grade 2s. I run 3 12Ks. Oh, can't removed. When it attacks, if you have Vanguard's Perdition, it gets +3. And I run 4 Perdition Dragon Knight Tariev. His skill is if your Vanguard is in Legion, whenever a unit gets retired, that's in the same column as him. You can't really see him. When he's put into the same column as him, that's retired, he gets +5,000. And no, this also works during your opponent's turn. So let's say they have a grade 1 in the front and they retire it, he'll still get +5,000 because it's in the same column. It just matters that your Vanguard's a Legion. So he can swing for really high numbers by himself. When your opponent is rearguarded in the same column as this unit is put into the drop zone of your Vanguard is Legion, his unit gets +5,000. And then we're running 4 Menace Laser Dragon. I really like this card. Its skill is, like I said, it's only good if it's good to do if you have this guy. Because before you play him, and then you put this down. So it's a blaster blade on crack, how I like to call it, because you can put it anywhere. And another reason why it's really good is because your Vanguard does not have to be in Legion. You just need to have a Vanguard's Perdition. That's it. And what he does is when he's put to rear guard, counterblast 1, retire a unit on your opponent's side of the field that's in the same column as it, same row. So which is pretty good. So those are the grade 2s. On to the grade 3s. We're running 4 the Legion mate for him. It's Pain Laser Dragon. He's a good card, but the only downside to his effect that it's only when he performs Legion. So what it does is when he performs Legion, you choose a unit on your opponent's side of the field, counterblast 1, retire the whole row, which is pretty good because counterblasting 1 and then retiring a whole row for 1 counterblast is actually really good. So this is just for if you draw it, it's still good. And it's good for clearing out an entire row for a really low cost, which is just a counterblast. So you play this, and then let's say you want to retire the left column before you Legion, you put it down. Put it down. Whichever column that you want to put it in. And next, I think this guy is personally better than Perdition Dragon, Pain Laser Dragon. It's Perdition Dragon, Breakdown Dragon. Now, here's the thing about it, okay, and his Legion mate is Perdition Dragon Knight Tariev. And what he does is, you counterblast 3, choose a unit on your opponent's side of the field, and retire the entire column. And then, if your opponent has 2 or less rearguards, you unflip a damage. So, yes, counterblast 3 is a really hefty cost. But with this, you can go berserk. So, and if you open up as 2 of them, it's even better. So, what's really good about him is that, okay, let's say your opponent has 2 units, alright? And then you call this, you counterblast 3, and then you retire 2 of them. Then if they have 2 or less, you unflip 1, and then you soul blast 2, you unflip 2. So you unflip 3 damage right there. And then you can, and then think about a skill, it is not once per turn, it's an act skill. And his other skill is when he attacks, if there's another unit in the same column as him, he gets plus 3000. Oh, and the thing about Pain Laser, when he attacks, you can soul blast 1, and he gets plus 3000 when he attacks. So I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And oh, another thing about the Gear Chronicle structure deck, me and Tyranno will be getting them. So we will have videos for that. I guarantee you that we will. Because I want to make it because it reminds me of Steampunk. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below again. And thanks for watching. Remember to rate, comment, like, and subscribe.